Hey guys, welcome to my page, welcome to my video. My name is Dawn and I'm gonna wait just a second in case anybody hops on. But the reality is I'm still adjusting to a new time zone and I have no idea when is gonna be the most effective time. So very likely there may only be one or two of you that join me live and that's okay. So first of all, I wanna thank anybody that actually does join me live on this call, but also thank any of you that watch this replay. I can't express to you how much your support means to me, how much you actually taking the time to view even a portion of this means to me, and really helps push me and motivate me to just be a better me. Okay, so I see somebody on. It's Jill, perfect. Okay, so really who am I and why am I on and what the heck is this all about? Okay, so again, if you don't know me, my name is Dawn, and I'll get into a little bit about who I am momentarily. There's two real main reasons that I'm doing this. Okay, so the first is I've been watching my friend do these live calls a couple times a month, and I'm seeing the incredible value that she's providing others by sharing her story, by sharing what she's learning. And I see the value that her community is getting from it, and I don't want you to miss out on some of that stuff. I want you to have an opportunity to know me a little bit better, but learn what I'm learning, learn from my mistakes, learn from the things that go well. The second reason though, which is the most important reason, is I truly believe in the power of story. I truly believe that it's our responsibility and our obligation to share our stories. Our stories are not our own. They're not just meant for us. They're meant to be shared. They're meant to be shared with each other so that we can learn from each other and grow from each other's experiences. And that's the real reason behind why I'm even on here, why I'm gonna be talking to you. And so I told you I'd let you know a little bit about who I am, which is crazy tricky, okay? And the reason it's tricky is because my story is all about lack of identity and not knowing who I am. And so it's so difficult to try to tell you who I am. At least that was my story for a really, really long time. I'm a former dual sport collegiate athlete. I was involved in competitive athletics from the time I was 5 until I was like 22. I had a couple knee injuries in college, so I redshirted, and I actually was still playing sports my first year of grad school. And I was not at all prepared or ready for the transition from being an athlete, a competitive athlete, into the real world. And I did horribly in the transition. And the part that made it the worst was at the time I was actually seeing a sports psychologist. And truth be told, she wasn't really a sports psychologist. They kind of called her that to make me feel better. She was the shrink at the school. And the reason I was seeing her was because I was really struggling that last year of sports. Like I said, I was in grad school. I was working full-time as a student, and I was doing an internship full-time. And so I was working at a nursing home, and I was literally working with patients through end of life, through death and dying. And I was really connected with one of the patients that I had been working with, that entire year up to that point. And I was really close with her, and she was in her final stages of MS. And I was going through that process with her, and then I would leave her bedside and go straight to practice. And the drive was only about 15 minutes. And I was not prepared to do that. I was not equipped emotionally to be able to go from the one extreme emotion right into practice. And my head wasn't in it. My head wasn't in games. My performance was suffering. And as I wasn't really a fifth-year senior, but whatever, fifth year, whatever you want to call me, I was grad school. I was taken out of the starting lineup midway through my final year. And if you've ever been an athlete, that should have pissed me off. That should have been the fire that I needed to get my act together. And it did the complete opposite for me. I didn't care. I was upset about it, but not upset enough to do anything about it. And the reason I was seeing this psychologist was because she was trying to help me just finish the year, because I wanted to quit. I was done. I was so done, and I just wanted to get on with my life. And she was trying to help me not make a decision that I would regret for the rest of my life. And I absolutely would have. Okay, so that was a big aside. So I wasn't prepared for that transition. And I remember distinctly, looking back, her saying to me, "What's it going to be like for you when this is all over? How are you going to transition? What is your life going to look like?" And because of the state of mind I was in, because of the hurt and the yuck and the junk that I was feeling, and just the mental state, I was really flippant about it. And I was like, I'm going to be fine. Like, I've got a job. Like, I'm smart. I mean, I wasn't really smart, but I'm like, I'm smart. I've got a job. I've got it under control. Like, I'm going to be fine. I'm ready to move on. My body was broken. My brain was broken. My heart was broken. I was just ready to be done. And she was trying to prepare me, and I didn't listen. And I struggled. And I left, and thank God, I literally graduated on Saturday and started my job on Monday. And I struggled with that transition, and I didn't know who I was because all I knew was being an athlete. All I knew was the competitive athletics. That was it. And now I was in a job, and I suffered such severe anxiety that I ended up in the hospital for a week. Like, I was hospitalized. They couldn't figure it out. I kept trying to tell the doctors. I kept trying to tell the nurses. I'm like, this is anxiety. Like, I tried to explain to them that I was a social worker and like I understood, and that's what the problem was. And they kept asking for psych to come see me. I was like, this is anxiety. Like, I'm lost. And I was so lucky to work with the people I did because they loved me through it, and they helped get me back on track. And so all I knew to do was throw myself into work. And because I was a new social worker, and I really wasn't very good at my job. And I don't like sucking at things. I just don't like it. So I threw myself into my job, and I started to come into my own, and I started to feel comfortable, and I started to feel confident. And the doctors and the nurses and the therapists started to respect me. The patients and the families, they wanted to work with me. And I was starting to make a little bit of a name for myself. And just as I thought I knew who I was and what I was supposed to be doing, I freaking fell in love, and I got married, and I moved. And not only was I now like a new wife, I was a new military spouse. And if you are not part of the military world, like, not only was I no longer me, which I didn't feel like me anyway, but the military basically told me that I didn't exist. I didn't have a name anymore. I was reduced to a number. And I wasn't even reduced to my own number. I was identified by my husband's social security number. I'm still identified by my husband's social security number. I cannot make a doctor's appointment without giving them his social security number. And on top of that, my ID card and any paperwork I ever did said that I'm his dependent. So when you're already in a state of like not knowing who you are, and then you're basically told you don't exist, like, man, was it hard. And I didn't do well with that transition either. But I figured out a way. I started to make friends. I found a job, and I threw myself into that. And I was super unhealthy when it came to taking care of my body and taking care of my mind and taking care of the things that I knew I needed to take care of. But I slowly started to become me. I slowly started to not be Jeff's wife. I slowly started to become Dawn again. I had a purpose, and I loved the work I was doing. And then we moved. And this pattern just continued and continued, and I would finally feel like I was getting a piece of me back, and then we would move, and I'd have to start over. And a lot of times, like, the parts of me that I didn't like, I would leave at one place, and like I would start to pick up like the parts of my friends that I liked. And I would reinvent myself every time and not truly be me because I didn't know who I was, and I was just trying to figure it all out. And finally, after watching the darn infomercial, I'm a self-proclaimed infomercial junkie. I don't want to tell you all of the things that I've purchased through infomercials. But I watched that darn P90X infomercial for like 2 years. And I know that the athletes that are watching this out there probably all said the same thing I did for quite a while. You probably looked at that thing and said, back in the day, I could have crushed that. Back when I was in shape, I could have crushed that. Because that's what I kept saying. I'm like, oh, I could have killed that thing. And then I finally like watched, and I saw these like before and after things happening, and I would see like the little wussy girl. I'm like, I'm better than that girl. What's she got that I don't have? Finally, it all clicked, and I knew I needed to do something. And I was living in Tennessee without any friends, without a job, and I was by myself. I didn't even have all these animals yet, so I was by myself all day. And I don't remember what birthday it was, because I don't remember what year that was. But I bought P90X for my birthday, and I crushed the hell out of it. And I started to get a little bit of me back. I started to find a little bit of that athlete inside me again. And I started sharing what I was doing with my other friends, because I know they all had the same thoughts. And I was like, man, I feel more like me. I have direction. I have purpose. I'm doing this for a reason. And I started to get all of those things inside me were awakening. But then the program ended. And once it ended, I slowly started to slip back into some bad habits. At least I found some friends and I started to find a niche, but then lo and behold, we move again. And I found myself in the same pattern. And what I didn't realize at the time, I might have lost a little bit of my identity. I might have lost all my identity when I stopped playing competitive athletics. But the part that was like just as important that I did not realize, I mean, I knew I lost my identity from the beginning, but the part I didn't realize I lost was my team. I lost a team. And I never realized how much that team mattered. I never realized how much being a part of a team was my entire life. Everything I didn't do in my life, everything I did in my life was always around being an athlete and being part of a team. Every activity I did while I was a competitive athlete was around athletics. It was around being around other athletes. And even the things I didn't do. I didn't go bowling. I didn't go skiing. I didn't do any activity that I could have gotten hurt and not been able to play. I didn't even go to parties in high school. I went to one party in all of high school. And that was after my final season was over because we had one of those guilt by association rules where even if you weren't drinking, if you were caught around alcohol, you were considered guilty. And I couldn't afford to lose any part of my season. And I didn't realize how much that mattered, how much team mattered to me until many, many, many years later. And I finally, after I don't even know what move number it was, I finally said enough is enough. I need to take care of my health. I need to find better ways to cope with the stress and the anxiety. I need to stop drinking so much. I need to stop eating so much. I need to fit my clothes. I need to find my confidence. I need to find me again. And I got hooked in with, they call it a group, but my sister's friend connected me to her group. And that group became my team. In that group, there were other women that were looking to find themselves. There were other women that had similar goals and desires. They wanted to be healthy. They wanted to be strong. They wanted to find discipline in their life. They wanted to feel comfortable and confident in their own skin. And what I started to gain in that group was what had been missing for so many years of my life by being part of a team. See, a team motivates you and inspires you. They love you when you are down, but they love you enough to also give you a kick in the ass when you need it. Because there are times that I just want to wallow in my self-pity, and it's awesome to have somebody there like loving on you, but you also need them there to kick you and tell you to get up and keep going. Being part of a team reminded me to set goals and go after them. Being part of a team reminded me that this life that I'm in is so much more than about me. The days that I didn't want to show up for me, the days that I didn't think I was worth showing up for, I showed up anyway because there were other people counting on me to be there. That's the part I was missing when I was on my own. That's the part that I was missing. Guys, we are created to be relational frickin' beings. God put us on this earth not to live independently of each other. He created us to live in community. Scripture after scripture after scripture talks about this. We're told that, two are better than one. A cord of 3 strands can't be broken. Iron sharpens iron. We're told to carry each other's burdens. We're told that we're all given unique gifts and talents to be put together to form one body, right? Like, we're told this over and over again. If the God of the universe created me to be in relation, how dare I try to do life alone and think that it was going to work? Like, seriously. Team is so important and it's so valuable, and team saved my life. I couldn't have continued going the way I was going. Plain and simple. And I fully believe that you need a team. The coolest part about what I get to do is I get to pick my team. How many teams have you ever been on in life that you didn't get to pick? Like, you were put on a team because of your age or because of where you happen to live, what school district you were in, or you were put on a certain team because of the type of work you did, right? And so, like, a lot of times you don't like the people you work with, but it works. I mean, I had plenty of teammates that I didn't like, but I loved them as teammates, right? But I get to pick who I work with. Like, that's the coolest thing of all time. But regardless of what it is in life, whether it's this fitness and nutrition thing, or whether it's work life, or whether it's your, financial situation or relationship or whatever it is. Like, you need a team. You need that core group of people to support you, to love on you, to kick you in the butt, that you're going to show up for because they're going to show up for you. They're going to motivate and inspire you and hold you accountable. If there's an area of your life that you're struggling, I challenge you to see if you are trying to do it alone. Because if you're trying to do it alone, you're not going to be successful. I challenge you to go pull a team together, right? Pull a team together and work through it together. Now, I've got a couple opportunities that I want to plug you into, that I want to help create a team for you. Okay, so check it out. My friend and I are running like the bomb.com group. Like, it is the most amazing group that I've ever been a part of because it's truly become a team. The men and women in there push themselves so hard. They push each other so hard. We hold each other accountable with our fitness, with our nutrition. Like, it is amazing. And I want to add you to that group. I want to get you connected. Like, I can get you started as early as tomorrow. But if you're one of those, like, I need to start on a Monday kind of people, which I understand, let's talk this week and let's get you connected to that group on Monday. Now, if you're like me and you need more, like, you need more accountability, you need more of a community, you need more of a team, you like getting discounts, you like the chance to make money, you want to help people, let's talk about doing what I do. Like, I don't know about you, I got the coolest job in the world. Becoming a coach was the best decision of my life because I was part of a team and I got to create a team. And not only do I have the accountability of the little teams that I get to work with throughout the day, but holy smokes, I get the accountability of an even bigger community. And I get to save money, and I get to make money, and I get to change and affect lives. So if you're like, yeah, I kind of want a little more information on that, please talk to me. I have my next sneak peek not until the end of next month, but because it's so far away, I want to take you by the hand. I want you to walk alongside me. And we're going to walk together through this, and you're going to see exactly what I do and how I do it. And I'm going to mentor you. And then if you're like, I don't really like it, then you don't do it. But if you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, then we get connected and we get started. And then we get your team growing and building. Another opportunity, if that's just way too much, and you're like, I'm totally spitting at you, I'm sorry. But if that's way too much and you're not ready for that and you want baby steps, on the 10th, now I know that the 10th is a Friday, I have a 5-day clean eating group that's getting started. But on the 10th, I'm going to be sharing the meal plan and the grocery list. It's only going to be 5 days of clean eating. So we're going to start the Monday the 13th, but on the 10th, I'm going to start sharing that information. So I need to know if you want in. And what we're going to do there together is we're going to start to focus on our nutrition. Because I know that you're saying in your mind, some of you, that I'm okay with my fitness, I'm okay with my nutrition, the team stuff, I get it. But guys, the reality is, if you can become disciplined in one area of your life, those other areas are going to fall into place. When you become confident and strong mentally and physically in your body and in your health, those other areas just take off. So let's start small if you're not believing me and buying into all that, and let's get you in that group. Again, I'm going to start on the 10th sharing the information, and then we're going to eat clean, we're going to meal prep. You're going to start to see changes in your mood, in your energy, in your body, in your mind, in just 5 days. I want you to be a part of this. I want you to feel what I get to feel every day of my life. And then lastly, I'm going to continue to do some of these. Now, this was a little bit more about me, as you're getting to know me a little bit better. But I want to bring topics that are going to be relevant to you, topics that you can take and do something with. Something that you can learn and implement and then share with somebody else, because that's what this is about. It's about adding some value to you so that you can add some value to somebody else. Because like I said, our stories are not for us. They are meant to be shared. Our experiences are not just for us. They're meant to be shared. So let's start the sharing of that, okay? So the next time I'm going to be coming to you live is going to be on the 13th, Monday night. I'm going to go with the same time right now until I get a better feel for what works. So if there's a particular topic that you're interested in, let me know. And then we're going to do another special one. Right now we're planning on the 22nd when my friend is in town, that we're going to do something special to bring to you guys and to the people that follow her. It's going to be something amazing. I have no idea what it's going to be yet, but when we work together, just amazing things happen. It's why you want to be in our group. But I've taken up far too much of your time tonight. Guys, thank you so much for watching this. If any of this was valuable to you, or you think it might be valuable to somebody else, I would love for you to share it with them, comment on here, tag somebody. Just let's get the sharing going. All right, I'm going to leave you for the night. I hope you have a fantastic evening. And if you've got thoughts or anything else that you want to hear more about, message me, comment below. But let's get this more about what you want and not just what I feel like talking about. All right, you guys have a fantastic night. Thanks so much for watching.